Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Wow, I'm already in weekend mode. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying your Saturday. Man, I'm sorry. Like I said, my brain's already in a fog. I'm already ready for the weekend. Okay, I'm already in weekend mode. Let's just say that. But I hope you guys are all doing well out there. There's a lot that we need to talk about today. One main big story. There's a couple other ones that I wanted to cover here really, really quick, of course, as well. We got a very, very special friend, new reoccurring guest on the show that I'm very excited about having here with us very, very shortly. But hopefully you guys are all doing well. Happy Saturday to all you guys out there. For those of y'all who are starting to wrap up your Saturday, hopefully it's been a wonderful one for you. And those of y'all that are just getting started with your day, enjoy that cup of coffee, because I'm still drinking mine. And I know it's noon in my neck of the woods, but real talk today, I needed most definitely needed this cup of Joe. And enjoy that coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation and this show. Okay. We have a young woman by the name of Eliza Fletcher, or Eliza Fletcher, that has gone missing, that has been abducted or kidnapped. There's a lot of questions that have been circulating around this particular story. Things have, pedal to the metal with this story. The speculations, the salaciousness, etc. And I said, hey, I gotta jump on this and talk about this with my fam, and bring on my brother, Nerdy Addict, to the show to talk about all this as well, because he's been having his finger on this bad boy, on the pulse of what's going on with this as well, and we got to talk about it. So before we get into everything, we have got to do some housekeeping. You know how it is. All right. Sorry, guys. It's a Saturday. My brain is still starting to rev its engines. Okay. Do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Send it past 200 likes. I see a bunch of y'all starting to move in and sit down and settle in and get comfortable. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every single last one of y'all. Welcome to the Pascal Show. And if this is your first time here checking out this show, please do me a favor. Crush that subscribe button, baby, because your boy's out here working hard out here in these streets for you and for myself. I mean, I'm a workaholic. Let's keep it real. So please hit that subscribe button. We're marching our way towards 100,000 subscribers. It'd be great to have you part of the Pascal Show family. Anyway, we got to get into some stories. Now, we have a situation where there is a woman by the name of Eliza Fletcher. She goes by Liza Fletcher, and she has been allegedly abducted while on a morning jog before her day, before work. And we have a lot of new information surrounding this, but of course we got to start from the very beginning of this story. But this is a young woman that was out on a morning run, and now she is gone. She was taken in a dark SUV. Of course, we're going to be getting into more details about that here shortly. And the reason why this one really grabbed my attention is I'm also a runner too. Okay. I'm also an avid runner. I know I'm not female or anything. Okay. Or at least I don't identify myself as female. But at the same time, I do run a lot of times when the sun is still coming up or when the sun is completely gone. So this really kind of tugged at me a lot. I mean, regardless of a person, aside from this person being taken, right, abducted, it's still it's scary to think that you can be running, minding your own business, maybe music blasting in your ears, and suddenly a car pulls up and just takes you when you're the most vulnerable. And of course, we got to talk a lot about that here in just a minute. So to talk about all this and to go through this journey with me, I got to bring on my good brother, nerdy addict to the show. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Good afternoon, Pascal, or good. Well, that should be noon around you. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. You know what I mean? Just getting started. Just getting, the oils are starting to, the juices are still starting to flow through the body right now as we speak. It's been a very long week, so I think my body is starting to go, hey, it was a long week, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still waking up, but I'm happy to be here with you and discussing this case and this situation with you for sure.
Same, man. I appreciate you having me on again. What's up with the fuzzy picture? Like, why can't we get a clear resolution photo in any of these cases?
And that's one thing we're going to talk about here in just a minute. Like, we just talked about it off camera, but they could take photos of other galaxies in like 4K, like in 6K, right? But we can't even get a decent, solid photo of a woman or of an SUV abducting a young woman. We can't even get a clean shot of that. Like, come on, really? It's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous.
In terms of, you have Labor Day weekend. In terms of public safety, I'd say the public is fine. This area, Memphis, this is an anomaly. They've only had 2 of these since 2012, kidnapping, abduction like this. One in 2012, one in 2013. So I'd say when you're leaning on the math.
Oh, I lost you, buddy. Hello? Looks like
I'm here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Say that again. What were you saying?
So I was just saying, in terms of public safety on this one, on Eliza Fletcher, this is an anomaly for Memphis. There's only been 2 of these kidnapping abductions since 2012. One in 2013, one in 2012. So in terms of public safety, I'd say they're probably okay. This is probably targeted and isolated.
Yeah. So, and that's the one thing that's very interesting too, because obviously there's been a lot of questions, a lot of speculation, popping off here. And of course we are going to get down to the nitty gritty of that, all that too. But first, I feel like we should take a trip down, I guess, memory lane, even though this only happened these stories are only just coming out right now. But I feel like we should go and look into a quick news clip on how this story actually started. Let's take a listen.
Well, off top at 5, a mom and Memphis teacher is missing after a morning jog. Zaria Oates has more on what we know so far. Zaria?
The University of Memphis Police and Memphis Police Department say this morning around 4:30 a.m., 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher, also known as Liza, was abducted in the 3800 block of Central Avenue while jogging. Throughout the day, Memphis Police Department has blocked off the area near Central and Zach H. Curlin, where she went missing, setting up their mobile command center and with investigators on site. Fletcher is a junior kindergarten teacher at St. Mary's Episcopal School. MPD said a report was made to them at 7 a.m. regarding a woman who regularly runs on Central not returning home following her run. The department has released surveillance images of Fletcher from her morning run, shown in a pink athletic top and purple bottoms. They also released 2 images of the vehicle the suspect abducted her in. The city of Memphis attorney Jennifer Sink did tweet earlier today saying Fletcher is her niece, asking community members to contact the police if they see her. Police haven't released any information on Fletcher's immediate family. In an effort to make runners more aware as they go on early mornings and late night runs, an avid runner in the Memphis area says she recommends all female runners run in pairs or groups.
Now, of course, we can go into more detail about that in a little bit, but I just wanted to pull up. Obviously, this is just some of the information that they have. Of course, she's wearing a pink tank or a pink top and blue running shorts. These are the photos that they have, or some of these photos of this dark SUV that allegedly took this young woman. Now, I know that Nerdy, you said that kind of like the make of the SUV. What is the make of the SUV again? One more time.
So the vehicle that they said she was forced into is a dark-colored SUV. It's a GMC Terrain.
The GMC Terrain, dark colored SUV. All right, guys. So, of course, we don't have any license plates. As you can see here, let me just show you guys again. I mean, look at this. I mean, like I said, we could take photos of Jupiter, right? Very detailed, high definition photos of Jupiter. Okay, we can shoot things in space, but for some odd reason, when it comes to things that matter, like somebody getting taken like this, we can't even get a decent still or a decent video like this. Okay, this is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm just going to pull back a little bit more so that you guys can see the other shot, and this is just some of these. Okay, there's other ones that they have shown in other articles and whatnot, but this is ridiculous. But a GMC Terrain SUV, dark colored, so it could be a dark navy blue or a black SUV, just so you guys know if you are in the Memphis area. Okay, and it's devastating, and the fact that people can't go and run out here in these streets safely anymore is still mind-blowing to me. Real talk, still absolutely mind-blowing to me. Now, let's just get into a little bit. I know we're probably going to be repeating a lot of things that were said here, but in that article or in that news clip, let's take a look at this. Eliza Fletcher, 34 years old, a mother of two. She also goes by Liza, was snatched during an early morning jog on Friday. Investigators say that as the junior kindergarten teacher ran down a stretch of Central Avenue near the University of Memphis, she was abducted and forced into a mid-sized dark-colored SUV, which obviously we already know now. It's a GMC Terrain SUV. All right. Around in this article, it says 4:30, but we're hearing that from the photos that were taken of her when she was jogging, it was around 4:20 a.m. Is that correct, Nerdy Addict?
Yeah, it's in between 4:20 and 4:30. I don't think it's really important other than in terms of law enforcement, right? That's a time where you're not going to have a lot of high traffic on those roads. So that should be, like, in my perspective, we're past 24 hours. We should have a license plate because that one camera leads you to, okay, which direction were they headed? Okay, let's go pick up the next camera from a business or Ring camera until you piece it together and find out where they're going. The fact that we don't have that is sort of odd. But, so in between 4:20 and 4:30 a.m. is the timeline. I don't know how important that 10 minutes is in terms of finding her that.
Right. And there's so much. It's just, yeah. I mean, and it takes 2 seconds if someone's successful at doing said act. If someone's successful at doing said act, it only takes seconds to take somebody, right? If you're successful with it, right? Boom, you can be gone like that. You can be taken in seconds. Especially these are people who are out here running. Again, these are people who are out here running. It's not like they're running with weapons on them and stuff. A lot of times, I mean, you're dressed light so that you can run. Especially avid runners out here. Sometimes you're not even running with a phone. You're just running. It's just you, the clothes that you have on your back, maybe the headphones that you have on, and your watch, and that's it. No cell phone, no nothing. Some people are really, some avid runners run like that. They're not running around with weapons and carrying things on them the entire time. So, this is the reason why I say this, because even myself, who's now has become more of an avid runner now than ever before, actually. This is why I say to the people out here, just be mindful of where you are. Be mindful of your surroundings when you're running, especially when it's dark at night or the sun is just about to rise. You know what I mean? And I mean, even so myself, I really enjoy running at night. I really enjoy running when it's dark outside. It gets me, it turns everything off. right? I'm not listening to anything. Like, I'm not looking at anything really. It just lets me focus on myself and the run, right? When it's broad daylight, it's a little bit different. And sometimes, especially during the summer, running during the day is murder. Okay. It's really, really hard. And it's probably the dumbest thing you can do unless you really just want to challenge yourself with that kind of heat. So when the sun is going down or when the sun is about to come up, those are the prime times, especially during the summertime and a little bit in the fall, to really run. So what's terrible is that you're putting yourself in harm's way. It can get very dangerous. You could be running down certain paths that can get you into can make you run into some people that you don't want to run into. Then also you got to be mindful of the paths that you run. If you run the same path all the time and you got people that are watching, you never know who's actually watching you guys. Let's keep it real. So that's why you try to make sure to switch up your pattern, to switch up your paths, the trails that you run, the routes that you take, because then people don't really know how to track you all the time. Because if this was just a single thing where somebody was just following her or just saw her run this route a lot, let's just say over and over and over again, and they're like, oh, there she is again at this particular time. As always, like clockwork, there she is again. There she is again. I mean, it does make it a little bit easier for someone to track you and take you. So I just have to say that really, really quick because, I really enjoy I really enjoy running. I love it. But I'm always trying to do my best to switch up my routes because you never know. You just never know. Okay. And of course, carry something with you, ladies and men. Let's keep it real. There are men out here that, men are getting taken as well. So be very careful about your surroundings and the paths and the routes that you take and switch it up as often as you can. You can still go back to that route. Because sometimes you go, okay, I really like that route. That was really challenging. I want to see if I can do it better this time. Sure. But if you're doing it every single morning, someone's going to catch that pattern. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
Nerdy, go ahead.
Computer business, we say security through obscurity, and you're absolutely right. If you're predictable, you're not secure. And a reminder, Pascal, to people listening, and I know, people, well, this may have not worked. I don't care. The message is going out on anyone's cell phone, iPhone, Android. Even the Apple Watch will detect if you set it up, if you fall, to send an alert. But more importantly, on iPhone, set up your SOS. You press that side button 5 times, sends an alert off to your emergency contact, picture, GPS. There's things that we need to instill in people's brains. Yes, mace and weapons are great, but just like we were taught to stop, drop, and roll, times have changed. Our phones
Right.
are our friends. Tap that button. Remember to set it up. Teach your kids to do the same. Just like you train for evacuating your house if there's a fire. These are things that you're seeing in pretty much broad daylight. I mean, the sun was coming up, and it's just protect yourself.
Yeah, and I agree 110%. Even last night, I did a pretty mean 3-mile run last night, and it was last night. But one thing I'm lucky at is the one of the routes that I take, for example, it goes through. You're running through like heavily lit areas, and it runs through like one big stretch of bars and restaurants and whatnot. And I know that can be dangerous still as well, but at least you're in places that are a little bit more heavily populated. So, and I know that's not the answer to everything, but I say sometimes it's best to be in places that are a little bit more crowded, or there's more life around, human presence around, so that something like this doesn't happen. The other thing too is a lot of these bad boys are amazing. Let me just say that again. These bad boys on your wrist are amazing. And if you actually turn on the cellular part of it, because some of us run without our cell phones, because it's just extra stuff. Okay, turn this on. I know it's extra money, but turn it on so that if you need to make a phone call, you can actually call on your wristwatch, on your Apple Watch or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Or your smartwatch. I just highly recommend those things. So just in case ish goes down, you can actually do, at least you have that extra precaution. You see what I'm saying? So just saying that out loud. I mean, of course, the lady that was in that news clip also says run with other people, run with other friends, etc. And I know that a lot of people like myself, I like the solitude. I don't like running with a pack. I don't want to compare my pace to somebody else's. But at the same time, sometimes it is, especially if you're running in the morning in maybe a darkly lit area, it would be best if you had a partner to run with instead, right? But that's just some pieces of advice. Nerdy said some beautiful things there too. About other safety precautions you could be using just in case ish hits the fan. Okay, guys, because I know there's a lot of us avid runners out here, and we all want to get our miles in for the week or for the month, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, it is incredibly crucial to be as careful and as safe as you possibly can be. But let's get back into here really quick. So she was forced into that dark SUV around 4:30. Allegedly is around 4:20 when this happened. Memphis police tell Fox News Digital they received 2 calls around 7:45 a.m., one from Fletcher's husband, Richard Fletcher III, and one of the university. They found some of her belongings at the scene and were told that a male approached Fletcher and forced her into a dark SUV after a struggle. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation later identified the vehicle as a GMC Terrain, which we just talked. She regularly jogged in the area, authorities said. Fletcher is an avid runner who has qualified for the Boston Marathon. So, as you can see, I mean, clearly she puts in the miles every morning. She's an avid runner. She loves to run. And they said one thing again, I'll say it again. She regularly jogged in that area. That's big, especially if you see the same person every day, the same runner running by every day, and they're using that path a lot. People start plotting, guys. It's potential for people to start plotting ideas. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate with what happened here, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, obviously, we're going to find out more as time goes on here. What? Interesting. Let me read a little bit more of this article here. A Memphis Magazine wedding announcement reveals Fletcher married her husband. Eliza married her husband Richard on March 8th, 2014. She is described as outdoorsy, athletic, and warm. He has marked their anniversary on Instagram each year since, including a series of selfies this year. 8 years in the making. 8 years in the making with this smoking hot babe. Wouldn't want it any other way, even if the stomach bug is running through our family. Now, the parents, Liza's parents, have declined to comment, and no one picked up the phone at the home she shares with her husband and 2 children. And images online showed a significant police presence there Friday evening. Now, there has been more information that's been percolating over this story. Like I said, I saw that this young woman was said that the stories about her being abducted, being taken during her morning run, and then this morning I wake up with a slew of different things, which is crazy. So we're going to go through some of these things as well. And I will get to some super chats as well here in just a moment. It's man. Okay. So much to look into. So let me just grace me just a second of time to do this. There it is. Now, this is something that I found very interesting. Right here. Cops tow car and take shears from home of abducted mother of two, who is this is the interesting part, which makes it even more suspicious. But she's also a billionaire heiress, y'all. As family offers $50,000 for information on her disappearance. Now, we're just going to go through some of these bullets. And the funny thing is that they didn't put in the computer either. So they tow the car, these shears, and a computer from her home. Okay? From her home. What's up with that? But let's go through these bullets. I'm going to throw it over to Nerdy in just a second. So, Memphis teacher and mother of two, Eliza, abducted while out on an early morning jog, close to the city's university. She's 34. She's an heiress to $1 billion fortune of her family's hardware business, Orgill Incorporated. Less than 24 hours after her disappearance, authorities were seen hauling the family's vehicle away from their home. Investigators labeled, this is weird to me too, garden shears and a computer. Like I said, computer is also important too, as evidence. Fletcher's family, of course, like I just said in the title, is offering $50,000 in a reward for information leading to her safe return. Now, I got to throw it to you, Nerdy, because this part to me makes no sense. Why would they take garden shears, y'all, and a computer and her car if this is just a simple situation or case of kidnapping? What are your thoughts on this, homie?
I don't know. It feels like, I mean, I know there's everything's not the same. It has those photos doulos vibes. When you talk about the picture being grainy, and look at the cross street of where she was running and where she was abducted. When I first started looking at that avenue, I felt comfortable. I was like, okay, well, there's banks and there's tons of cameras there. But that intersection where she was snatched from, it's almost as if someone canvassed that area, knew there was very limited cameras there, right? No businesses, perhaps a Ring camera or two, but it looks almost planned. In terms of what they took from her house, I think that's what's building up to a lot of this speculation, conjecture at this point, because we really don't know anything. But we do know that a judge found enough probable cause to go into that home and take what they did. The computer means something, and not only means something, but after they get done with that home, they then go to a very specific spot afterwards. I don't know if that's from computer details, cell phone, her Garmin watch that people are saying that she wore when she ran. But for police or law enforcement to go to a specific location, we see that with like Elijah Lewis. And shortly after they go to that specific location, they usually find more clues as to what's going on. It means that at the very least, the judge signed off and said, "Go ahead and search." The shears adds certainly a level of dramatics to it, right? I mean, seeing them walk out with those makes you wonder. Now, you said, could that be for her DNA to search? No, usually law enforcement will take clothes if they want to, have their dog smell her clothes and get a scent. Not garden shears.
But garden shears, you see what I'm saying? Like garden shears, that's a little strange, right? Garden shears, her car, the computer. But this is somebody that was just running down the street and was allegedly abducted, right? How? Why? Like I'm like I said, I'm scratching my head with this one, y'all. It doesn't make sense. It seems like something salacious is going on, something unspeakable is going on, or something more is going on other than just a straight up and down like 6 o'clock abduction. Now, we're going to look into some things here. We got to look at this. I do have a super chat, though. Let me get that really, really quick. Miss Fritz, thank you so much for the £9. I appreciate it. If you have an iPhone, pressing the power key, Yep, 5 times, connects you to emergency SOS call. Love your show, Pascal. You're the nicest guy on YouTube by far. Well, thank you so much, Miss Fritz, and or Miss Fitz. Sorry. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it, of course. And I'll be reading people's super chats, and of course, so I appreciate all y'all's support in this particular case, because this one's still brewing and it's strange. I'm going to go into this article here really quick. I know that there's some questions that were popped up onto a question that Nerdy put up on Twitter. So we are going to be looking at that really, really shortly. But I just wanted to put this out here really quick. So obviously the wealthy family, and this is the reason why I find it very interesting, because it's not only just because it's just a woman running down the street, etc., but it's also the fact that she has potentially connections to billions of dollars, right? That she has access, or maybe she will be given this specific amount of money at a certain time of her life, or when, you see what I'm saying, or the $1 billion business may be passed over to her, so on and so forth. It's just very interesting that she's the connection that's going on here. And also it makes you wonder, did whoever abduct her know about her connections, know that she's an heiress? That's the other thing. Then the question is, are we going to be hearing, or are we going to be seeing ransom notes and ransom videos, etc., demanding certain amount of money for her safe return? Just saying. You see what I'm saying? So the possibilities here just keep flowing like water. But let's look at this, okay? So there, of course, the family has posted, or her, her side of the family have posted $50,000 for information leading to her rescue. We already know that she's a junior kindergarten teacher, where she was snatched near the University of Memphis by an unknown kidnapper in a dark SUV. Less than 24 hours after her disappearance, Memphis cops were seen towing her family car from home. Weird. Investigators were also seen to label a pair of garden shears and a computer as evidence. Okay. A large police presence remained at the family home all evening. Local media reported that there was also a large presence at Overton Park in Memphis, not far from the family home. Liza lives in her home in the Midtown section of Memphis with her husband of 8 years, Richard Ritchie Fletcher III, and their 2 children. As the search continues, this part is very interesting too. Okay. I'm just highlighting this. Oh, why does it do that? Okay. So Fletcher, who also goes by Liza, lives in her home in Midtown Memphis with her husband of 8 years. Whoops, that's not what I was looking for. This is the part. That thing popped up and screwed up my whole highlight. Look, as the search continues, reporter Melanie Moon tweeted that Ritchie had, quote unquote, reportedly lawyered up. Now, let me just say this really quick, make this abundantly clear before everyone goes, oh my God, clutch my pearls, fan me down. Oh my Lord. Hold up. Just because he lawyered up does not mean it is an admission of guilt. Okay? Plenty of people lawyer up before, while things are getting investigated, so on and so forth. So I want to make that abundantly clear. But Nerdy, what are your thoughts on that part of this information and this investigation? Suddenly, he's lawyering up. What do you think?
It's hard to tell what that term means. I followed last night, and I think I know what's going on, right? They search the home, and when they do that, they're going to ask, him some questions. And at that time, they're going to say, do you want to come downtown? Or, and at that point, he can refuse and say, I'm going to get a lawyer. Whether or not he's already lawyered up, I don't know. I agree with you. You can't cast suspicion on someone for their American right. It's just, it's not guilt. And so, but I'm sure people have perceived it that way. I look at other things and, things that make me sort of go, the timing, right? She disappeared at 4:30. Typically a missing person, it takes some time, 8 hours a day. what happened where so just walk me through like a typical day. My wife goes out running at 4:30. If I'm not running with her, maybe I wake up at 5:30, 6 for work, have my coffee. But by 7:30, you have 2 phone calls from both the husband and the university. How so? Did the university call the husband and say, your wife's not here today? How did it end up where they both called or both knew? And that seems within 3 hours, right? To both call at the same time seems a little off. The reality is we don't know how it played out. But I will also say, when I say doulos vibes, the family, Fletcher family, offering the reward, sort of not putting out comment when police go to a home and have probable cause that they presented in front of a judge. There's witness statements, including family, and Doulos, Jennifer Doulos in Connecticut. That was another quick turnaround time, simply because the family said, "Look, this is completely abnormal. We expect consistency with the person that we know and love. Something's off here." And if they feel, and they know their daughter best, if the husband and wife were going through turmoil recently and gave that police, that statement, they then go to a judge, and a judge can say, "Look, yes, I'd like you to clear this house to make sure that he's not involved," because you're spending a lot of police resources trying to find someone, and like we always do, we talk about math. In most cases of kidnapping, abductions, it's someone you know.
Yeah, I to me, it's so strange. It's so strange to me, this whole thing. Well, I'm going to show you guys a few of these photos really quick, which obviously there they are, Richie and Liza and their family, them in St. Louis, and then the crappy photos of the SUV. I mean, you're right. It's about time. It's about the timing, but then it's also the added evidence or the added things that they're bringing in to the items that they're taking. Right, the garden shears. Again, I know some of you guys were going, "Wait, hair cutting shears or garden shears?" Garden shears. Okay, gardening shears that were taken, a computer, and her car. Questions keep popping up, in my personal opinion. And I know that you guys had a lot of questions on Nerdy Addict's question on Twitter. By the way, follow him on Twitter. Do us a favor, okay? Actually, do yourself a favor, okay? And be sure to follow Nerdy Addict on Twitter, nerdy_addict, okay? Now, he says, leave your Liza thoughts here. We'll discuss it on yours truly show. Okay. Appreciate you guys for being here. Be sure to hit that like button down below really quick, of course, while we go through this. Get it past 400 likes for me. I would really, really appreciate that. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We talk about a lot of things on this channel. So please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and be a part of the Pascal Show family. Join the membership down below. Just click that join. Support the channel in any way you can. And of course, send some super chats, and I will answer those questions, or we will try to answer those questions as best as we can as we watch this, as we talk about this case. So this is one that popped up, and it was one of the first comment on this post that I thought was very interesting. I read her husband is battling a snow addiction, for lack of a better word, sleeping with their nanny, and they are separated, but would like to know if that is confirmed or speculation. Now, Nerdy, we talked about this. And I don't know. I haven't seen anything that's saying that, like confirming it from a actual legitimate news site, or you see what I'm saying? Like, I haven't heard anything like this. So this is very new to me too, that this could be the story about the husband's history. I think is very interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I saw the rumors. Like this, when Photos Doulos case started, Jennifer also had a nanny. I was actually the one that went back on his website. They had a four-group website, and went back and found out that the nanny was actually an employee of his at one time. And man, Pascal, I've never gotten so much hate on Facebook from women. I mean, I don't know. That's the point, is that, it turns out the nanny in the Doulos case had nothing to do with it. She's the one that helped bring the case up to speed with family and such. So I don't know. I have certainly seen the rumors. I noticed people saying that he shut down and made his social media private last night. And I don't know how to interpret that, because if I was an innocent husband that's looking for my wife, and people are speculating that I have a cocaine habit and I'm sleeping with a nanny, I too would shut down my Instagram. So I don't know. I can't confirm. I think law enforcement is going to give us a lead, and they have, in terms of where they think this is going. Right? We saw them search a home. We saw them tow a car, take computers and shears, and then they searched a park shortly after with canines. That kind of gives you an indication of where they think this is going. If law enforcement or the FBI had a kidnapping ransom demand, there would be no real relevant need to search a park, right? And so that when those things start filtering in, I'm going to go back to leaning on law enforcement to guide where this is going.
Yeah, it sucks, because you don't want to sit there and say, oh yeah, it's the typical him, smashing the nanny type thing. But of course, it is still a possibility, right? It's still something now, and those could just be stuff that's being thrown out here from the rumor mill. And of course, there's also stories of it possibly being that the family, or that the couple have separated, or they're having marital issues, which is interesting. And yes, those are factors that should be, if those are true, they definitely should be looked into, of course, because that could very well be a factor that could make somebody, that could inspire some of these things that are going on right now to have happened. But then it does make you wonder, how would, unless it's really, we got to play all the angles out here, right guys? Because it's easy for us to instantly go, oh yeah, it's the husband, oh, the husband did it, but what about the other side of things? Remember, she comes from a very prominent, very successful Memphis family. Who's to say that somebody knows about who's to say that somebody knows about her and her doings and all that stuff, and they're going, hey, let's just see her patterns real quick, and let's take this woman and let's make some money. Who's to say? Say that the husband has nothing to do with this. Or I want to throw this out too. Now I'll throw it to you, Nerdy, too. Or the other question is, how would they know about her pattern, her running schedule, etc.? Did the SUV was driving down the road and they just randomly kidnap this woman just out of happenstance? It just happens to be an heiress to a multi-billion-dollar hardware industry. See what I'm saying? It's it is possible, but it feels like that's like a series of events that you see in a movie, right? But in real life, how would they know to go onto that route and get this one singular woman that's running on the street at that time and know her pattern? Unless it's someone told her, or they've been following her for a while because they knew what kind of connections that she had. What are your thoughts on that, Nerdy?
I keep going back to, if you're taken abducted at 7:30, your logic does make sense, and I think that's why everyone is so sort of confused. Is you have a lot of money, and you could probably get a good ransom. Could you get away with it? Probably not. But with that said, if this was for money, you would have a kidnapping demand, whether it's the family. You know, you don't go to a house, you know, and start pulling shears. Like, it doesn't make it, the two don't, like, no kidnapper went into a house and used shears, right? The kidnapper. So why are you taking those items? And I keep going back to that. I just, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, Pascal. There's no rhyme or reason. If, you know, and I think hopefully today and tomorrow we'll know more. If police continue searching areas like they did last night at a park, and local media sees that, I'd have to be pressed. I wouldn't believe it's a kidnapping at all.
Yeah. It's so strange, y'all. I like, in a way, in my head, I'm thinking this could just very well be a straight up and down abduction. But then when you look at the math, you start doing the math, you go, this is so odd. It's so strange to me. And it does make me think of Naomi Irion. May she rest in peace. But the Naomi Irion situation where she was waiting for a bus so she was in her car waiting for a bus so she can go to her place of employment. And a man jumps into her car and takes her in that situation. I know it's not the same situation, but that was a random act. Some guy that was walking down the street and boom, you know, he was walking in the area and then he just went like the disturbing, disgusting monster that he is, attacked because he saw an opportunity, right? But you see a black SUV pull up on the side of the road, or was on the side of the road, and a man approached her, grabbed her, put her in the car, and the car drove off. One, that's two people. Had to have been two people in the car, unless that car is hooked up in some sort of way, right? Because let's be real, you throwing her into a car and then you running around to get into the driver's seat to drive off, you don't think that girl's gonna open up the car door and book it? Trust, if I don't care, I would book it, right? I'd disappear off into the bushes or something. I would do something, right? So it had to have been a two-person job. So it's premeditated, in my personal opinion. It's plotted out. The car was chilling on the side of the road, and then they took her. It's just, like I said, it's a very strange situation. So it does make sense that, as you can see, this is her car right here. And of course, this is their home. You know, the 5-0 is there doing their due diligence, getting the evidence, getting the stuff that they can get to maybe get closer to finding out what happened to her. This is them, of course, towing the car, but this is the car itself. She's not driving her car. She wasn't driving the car. She was en route, running, on foot. You see? So when I look at all these things, all these pieces of evidence, now it could lead to nothing. All this could be a nothing burger, which just calls for more salacious titles and more salacious conspiracies out here. But what would inspire them to go and get the car alone? Unless, I don't know. I mean, from what they're saying that he had a snow habit. Let's keep it real. What? I mean, is there snow in the car? Is there snow, packed up somewhere in some sort of compartment in the car that we don't know about? Is this something bigger than that? You see what I'm saying? Some sort of cartel type stuff? Like, what's going on here? You see what I'm saying? Why the car? Why the car? Why the computer? And why the garden shears? And again, I'll keep asking those. I'll keep asking that question until I'm blue in the face, or at least until they have more information given here. But this is what we have so far. Now there is more stuff. Like, of course, they say that there's speculations that the family that they were separated, the couple were separated, and all that as well. And this is from another article. And like I said, I'm not saying that this article or this source is credible, But they say who is Eliza Fletcher's husband, missing heiress partner, Richard Fletcher's legal issues and marital woes revealed. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Let's take a look at this. So, of course, we already know about the kidnapping that happened on Friday morning, September 2nd, when the unidentified person forced her into a dark-colored GMC terrain near the University of Memphis. Okay. Obviously, we already know that she comes from a very affluent family. Her grandfather, who was the late Joseph Joe Orgill III, a hardware magnate who was the owner of Orgill Incorporated. The family of the mother of two have released a statement after her reported abduction that read, "We look forward to Eliza's safe return and hope that this award will help police capture those who committed this crime." However, there are no direct words from her husband, Richie Fletcher. So, of course, they say it was when they got married, it was a truly a magical affair. They're obviously from what they say, they both were very active in the in their church and all that. They look like a very happy family. Now, as reports in 2021, Richard had spoken about quote unquote problems in the marriage on his social media account. Wow, he put it on social media? Okay. That says you put it on social media. That's some serious ish, in my personal opinion. The message apparently said, "Yesterday marked 7 years marriage to this beauty. If I were to ask us at year 3 if we could make it to 7, we probably would have said no. We apparently weren't given the memo that a healthy marriage is not going to come easy. Luckily, we put God/recovery first." And recover could mean a lot of things too. We were both willing to believe in each other and ask for help. We are so thankful for individual counseling, couples counseling, recovery, and friends. We can honestly say we wouldn't have had it any other way, he had added. And of course, these are just photos of them together. In March of 2022, the preschool teacher also mentioned her marriage with Richard, as she noted. Yesterday marked 8 years marriage with Richie. To say it has all been rainbows and prettiness, Hollywood movies, and easy would be a lie. I am grateful for every 2,922 days of these 8 years. So, interesting. We have worked hard, showed up, failed, forgiven, and loved. Thank you, Richie. Love you. Let's make a beautiful mess of many more years together. Heart emoji. Now, he has faced apparently some legal problems in the past. According to the Daily Mail report, said that Richard has multiple arrests for alcohol-related offenses, including public drunkenness and driving and a DUI. Meanwhile, in his wife's case, law enforcement officials have said that the abductor is male, releasing photos and details to law enforcement. In a statement, urged informers to call the MPD at 901-528-2274. Okay, or TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Now, so legal issues, which is he drank. Recovery, they say. They say we're thankful for individual counseling, couples counseling, recovery, and friends. Now, we all have our own vices. We all have our own demons that we have to deal with every single day. Does that automatically mean that he had something to do with her disappearance? No. Just because their marriage has been on the rocks, show me a marriage that hasn't been on the rocks, right? I feel like it's normal, right? For them to put that out there on social media. I mean, of course, they're just trying to of course, they're trying to encourage other people to say, hey, we have a marriage. It's not easy, but we leaned on each other. We found a proper type of counseling. Hubby is not drinking like he used to anymore, type thing, or he's in recovery, and things have gotten better. But of course, that doesn't automatically mean that she was taken by him. But still, a lot of other things that are being put out here do spark up a lot of questions. Nerdy, what are your thoughts?
When you browsed over to my Twitter profile, the first question was about cocaine. The second one was from a user that I went and fact checked, and they're right. The church has put out a statement saying, look, Fletcher, was full life. She and her husband, Richie, are both very active and great leaders in our congregation. Mm-hmm. They have 2 little boys who have come up to me every week and give me a hug. So the church is saying, they support this. When we go down these pathways of, pretty much 24 hours later, when we talk about him sleeping with a nanny, cocaine, a reminder to people, we don't know. And, these people have 2 children that will someday read these comments. The internet is forever. So I try to, when we get into stuff like that, look, I'm an addict and I can have that conversation, but until we know, I don't feel having a conversation about that is fruitful. I will say we've seen all sorts of things in these cases, right? We've seen, a lot of middle-aged men in America who, have midlife crises and they do some stupid shit instead of just moving out and getting an apartment and moving in with a new girlfriend. There's a lot of cases like that. But at this point, we just don't know. I'd say, again, rely on what people are seeing locally on the ground in terms of law enforcement. If law enforcement is camped out in front of that home, and I say that in the sense of you may not see them with marked cars, but in cases of like laundry, they had 2 marked cars down the road. If you see stuff like that, then it'll give you an inclination of what the police are thinking.
Yeah, you're right. I just think that, yes, of course, people who are in recovery, people who are dealing with things like that, like I said, and I agree with what you're saying, Nerdy. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're personally going through. It doesn't mean that you're going to do something like this. It automatically makes me think of like the AHJD situation. They AH and her team were so heavy on trying to say, oh, this man is dealing with his addictions and therefore he's look, he's bad. So because he's dealing with his own inner demons and stuff like that, he would raise his hand to his wife. Of course he's an abuser. Of course he's violent, so on and so forth. And it's like, wait a second, guys, like that doesn't automatically mean that this person is doing that. Yes, people who are in recovery or people who are addicted, mistakes happen. And clearly they were working these things out. And so I just hope that, I mean, if there is some sort of, if it's snow, if it's the liquor, I'm hoping that has nothing to do with this case, that this is just a situation of somebody just getting kidnapped. But then again, we got to sit back and just see what they're showing as far as the what law enforcement does as well. And it says right here, they were they're avid members of the church that they go to. And you read that section right there, which of course, they're very active and great leaders in their congregation. And I mean, like I said, they really embraced their faith. They leaned on their faith and they leaned on the certain, counseling and et cetera to hopefully make their relationship stronger. And I say that, I mean, let's be real. I say that to any relationship that's, going through some tough times, it's okay. That's what marriage is all about. It's going to be rough. It's going to be choppy. You go into choppy waters. It's not always smooth sailing all the time. And no one should expect marriage to be just a cakewalk. It's work, But that still, to me, does not automatically mean that just because he's in recovery and whatnot, does not automatically mean he's up to no good, or that he has a hand in this situation. Nerdy.
And on the opposite spectrum, right? Just because somebody goes to church and puts on their Sunday clothes doesn't mean that they may not go home and do coke. It goes both ways, right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right on that part too. Yeah. I mean, come on. Man, oh man, do I know some people. Woo-wee! You're like, wow. If people really knew, you know what I'm saying? If they only knew, the real you, you come out all pious and self-righteous, and then behind closed doors, you're a completely different person. This is wild. It is absolutely wild. But what were we gonna say, Nerdy?
Just one last thing. I will say one thing that is leading me a little more towards the scale of husband. If we don't see a license plate released by tomorrow, that would give me an indication that police are leading a different way, because what I said earlier was that footage should lead a pathway to either Route 240, a highway, somewhere where you win. And it's always a piece of a puzzle that takes a little bit, but typically cops get that with cases like this quickly. If we don't see a license plate issued to the public to be looking for, that would tell you a lot.
It's also too, let's point this out too. Let me hold on. Let me get the crappy footage, of this car. Okay, let's talk about this really quick. Number one, and I'm going to get to these super chats, I promise, and I appreciate your support, guys. Thank you. Number one, here's the question I got for y'all. Okay, now you got this crappy footage. Where's the other footage? You're telling me that there aren't other streets, aren't other spots where there's a security camera that could have caught this car driving down the street? It's not like it just drove down a few feet and went and just disappeared into vapor. There's other cars. There's other street security cams. There's other intersections where they could have gotten this car, footage from this car. So why aren't they checking the other route, right? Or the route of what this SUV could have possibly taken after she was kidnapped? You see what I'm saying? That's the thing I keep thinking. There's got to be more footage out here showing every single angle of this car. It had to drive through stoplights, had to drive through areas, shoot, even a highway nearby. And I get it. It's a dark GMC terrain SUV. I know that it's really hard, especially when it's a dark colored car, that there's a lot of dark colored SUVs out here in these streets. But at the same time, though, you can at least follow and check the time stamp of, say it's 4:20 when this car took this woman. Can't you follow the timeline and say, okay, they went down this road, there's these security cams, so on and so forth. Let's grab a few more angles. Let's get the actual license plate, right? There'd be more opportunity for that, I would think, right, Nerdy?
Yeah, and you'd think, look, if that Garmin watch brought them to the park that the canines were searching last night, you would think they would then pull cameras if they thought that car was there or her watch was there, and then pull up cameras. So it'll tell you a lot, I think, in the next 24 hours if we get a license plate.
Yeah. But okay, so then explain this to me. When you say it would say a lot, if they don't pull out put out the license plate, then what would that entail?
Abductions typically, you're looking for a vehicle and a license plate number. When you get that license plate number, you put it out to the general public because you believe she's abducted.
Right.
If you don't put it out, then you're leaning a different way. And what we're seeing with law enforcement at the house, it seems like they're leaning a different way.
Yeah, clearly they're going a different way. They took her car. They got garden shears, for crying out loud, and a computer. Clearly, they're already leaning, or at least they're entertaining another theory, at least. But yeah, it'll be very interesting if they don't, what they come up with here in the next 24, 48 hours. I mean, shoot, they could put out this information by tonight. This story has been moving fairly quickly. I mean, it moved quick, this story. I heard about it last night. I woke up this morning with more information than I can even, that we're going through right now, that I was like, what's going on here? Because I thought it was going to be unfortunately, just a simple kidnapping. And it's not. Obviously, I feel that it could be something more to this particular story. But let's go into some of these super chats. Amanda Swinford, thank you so much for the 5. Oh, wait. I think there was more ahead of that. Hold on. I am so sorry. Oh, man. Yeah, hold on. Dag nab. I thought I had it all set up. But again, I appreciate all you guys' support, being a part of the conversation. Oh, okay. All right. So I was right about where I was. Sort of. We do have a new member, Miss Fitz. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very, very much. Okay. Amanda Swinford, thank you so much for the 5. I sent you a few things on IG DMs that I found online. I just got here, so I don't know if you've covered it. Okay. I'll be sure to take a look because I was looking to see if there was anything sent. Let's see here. Man, oh man. Okay. Let me see this. Interesting. Hold on. We got a couple things. Come on. My mouse likes to lose its mind sometimes. All right, let me take a look at this. This is something. Hold on. Make sure I got everything here according to what is being said here. And this is on IG. So thank you for these. Let's see. I'm an attorney in Memphis. I also know multiple people who know the family. I can 100% confirm that the husband, has retained counsel. I can 70% confirm that the husband and nanny have been taken into custody. What? Not confirmed by the news yet, but has been by multiple sources close to the family. I can 100% confirm that there are police and cadaver dogs searching Overton Park in Memphis right now. That's just one of them. What? What are you gonna say, Nerdy? That's wild, man.
I mean, I said this last night when people started saying they were arrested. You can't go to a home and take out shears and give that public that image, and neighbors are going to be sitting there like, well, what the fuck just happened? And now this guy is just sitting in the house, right? So I said last night, look, I don't think he's under arrest. I think they said, come on down to the station. We want to talk. And when he got there, he said he wants a lawyer, and they have a certain time window that they can hold him and detain him. And I think that's what they're doing until they build up evidence as to what's going on here.
Yeah, this is some crazy stuff. This is sorry. These are all screenshots. I'm just looking, shout out to Amanda. I appreciate you DMing me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, by the way. The Pascal Show, one word. I'm on TikTok as well. The Pascal Show, one word. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are some internet sleuths out here too, and doing the deep dives and all that. Let me look. There's another one here. Sent by her as well. Thank you. So let's see. This was posted on one of her missing pages. Word on the street from a credible source is husband owed a debt for his habit. This is word on the street, though, guys. And I know this is very small, so it's hard for you guys to see. So I'm just going to read it out for you guys. This info was turned into MPD and Crime Stoppers 10 minutes later, they seized his car, phone, and laptop. Interesting. Okay, added. Words just came through. The nanny is involved. 22-year-old is involved. 22-year-old and husband has lawyered up. We already know that. We'll update as word comes through. These are credible sources. This is allegedly from the credible sources. This is crazy. If it's because of a habit, right? If it's from a habit, again, this is all just word on the street, right? This is just rumor mill. So we have to entertain the questions, but instantly I go, just because a person may have a habit, okay, that may not be a good habit, does not automatically mean he owed money, so on and so forth, right? Cadaver dogs in Overton Park. See, now that's the thing though too, because let's be real. If he owed money and these people took her because of money was owed, why would cadaver dogs be out there? Wouldn't they want to use her as ransom, let's just say, so that they can get said money back, if not more money, if he owed bad people money, drug dealers money? What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm still wrapping my mind around this theory.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, this common where a tip went to Crime Stoppers and they were at his house 10 minutes later. That's not how warrants work. Those statements are probably, they could be true, right? Both statements are true, but how you perceive them and how they're correlated aren't necessarily what you make it out to be. Now, you know, we keep talking about this car and why we don't have a license plate. It's viable and plausible that police did track that car very quickly, found out where it went, and then that led to a warrant at his house. We don't know how it played out, but again, certainly with the items that they're taking, that computer should tell them a lot more with their digital forensics team, what she was doing, what he was doing on that computer, who they were talking to. And I'd imagine it already has. If they're sitting there, you know, you can't leave a guy in the house. We saw it with laundry even, you know, police had their eyes on him until they knew what the hell was going on. And unfortunately, you know, between that time, they thought he was Roberta or vice versa, and he took his life. But you can't take shears out of a house, a computer, and tow a car and say a woman was abducted and show this disturbing footage and leave them in that house for neighbors to sit there wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and then everyone thinks something really, really bad, and then they take law into their own hands without even getting the right information. And then, of course, somebody goes into that house and does something unthinkable to that man. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with you 110%. I mean, I'm just stating the worst case scenario. Somebody who's a friend or whatever, that can sit there and go, how dare he do said thing, just because of these theatrics from the cops being in there, towing a car, taking a computer, and some gardening shears. Says a lot, right? You're absolutely right. That's a huge thing to show, which is, you know, like I said, this is devastating. Go ahead, Nerdy. You're going to say?
Also, what they're not saying, I keep going back to them not releasing a license plate. Now, I haven't gone back to check any social media while I'm on with you and maybe somebody, but if they haven't released that, what they're not saying, and this is important because I spoke to Duty Ron the other day on the Kylie case. You can't, as a police officer, know there's an abduction or murderer and believe they're still out there and allow the public to be at risk. And so, you know, I keep going back to, they're not saying a lot about this car or license plate number. Makes me believe the public's not at risk because he's there sitting with them talking. Yeah.
Very good point there too. Let me get this super chat. We do have another screenshot that I want to take a look at. But Leslie B, thank you so much for the $25 super chat. Thank you. Pascal, what's the difference between kidnapping and abduction? Thanks for the connect and asking the questions we all have. Now, the way I look at it is abduction and kidnapping are the same thing. That's, to me, kidnapping and abduction are the same thing. But I appreciate the question, and I appreciate the super chat.
Is there a nuance in between the two, Pascal, where I think, like in my, and I'm probably wrong, I could be, but in kidnapping, in my mind, implies ransom, as opposed to abduction, where you don't know what their intent is. But I may be wrong.
Let's see. Interesting. Kidnapping, the action of abducting somebody and holding them captive. That's that. Now, abduction meaning the action or an instance of forcibly taking someone away against their will. So it's
And
the
so,
same. So go ahead.
yeah, it's sort of the same, but when you say held captive, you're held in a spot, right? Abduction, you're abducted by, let's say a criminal, and you're transported off to do trafficking or put into something. When you're held, I guess you're right. It's the same thing. I guess in my mind, when you're held captive for a reason, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean money, I guess.
No doubt. And yeah, so that's why I look at it as the same thing. If you're abducted or you're kidnapped, it's the same thing, because it is against your will, etc. But then again, we can go into the semantics talk all the live long day. And they're saying she's kidnapped, maybe because they're in hopes that she's just being held captive, that she's been kidnapped and that they're holding her for ransom, maybe something like that. Maybe they're hopeful that she's still alive. Maybe, View Galaxy, $2. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Gabriel Davies, that was found charged with murder. Gabriel Davies, I don't know that story. I don't know that story. Do you know that story, Nerdy? Or about this Gabriel?
I want to say, is that Dylan? No, I don't think it's Dylan Rollins. I'm looking at the name right now. There is a new article 57 minutes ago related to that name, and it's a boy that I photographed. Like I know is something missing, but it's loading. So give me a second.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Take your time, because I've never heard of that name in my life. So that's news to me. And thank you for letting us know about that, though. Turk killed Ranzau. Turk killed Ranzau. Thank you so much for the 50 DKK super sticker. I really do appreciate that. I don't know what DKK is, though, but I do appreciate the support. Seriously. High Price Kid, thank you so much for the $2. Life insurance on wife. See, this is on the wife. Yup. See, that's the other thing I forgot. I was going to go down that route. Thank you so much for saying that. That's the other part too. What if there's life insurance on her, etc.? He owes money, but let's be real. If it's about snow, okay? Informer, ziggity boom boom down. Now, if it's about snow and he owed a lot of money for snow, I can see that being a situation. Now, I don't know what kind of job Richie has. I don't. And we don't know what that is either. But, me and Nerdy don't know what he does for a living. But there could have been a situation where he is in dire straits for some cash. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Go ahead, Nerdy.
You do know what you're talking about, the husband, in terms of what he does for a career. Yeah, so he works as a manager at a boating company in Memphis.
Yes, it's a boating company. I'm sorry. Thank you. It is a boating company. So clearly he's doing something. He's making money. But there is a possibility, if there was he liked to go skiing a lot. If that's the situation, if you get my drift. If that
funny you say that, because that's often, like, all my friends that have boats often do blow. Like, right. That's my correlation with boats.
See what I'm saying? And I keep thinking that's part of that kind of in that world, right? And I also think that, like, money, success, power, if you're in a boating company, if you're selling boats, etc., I just feel like it's kind of goes hand in hand, that it just kind of flows around there, if that makes any sense. And it's all a status thing too. Some people just do it to show that they got money, or to come off like they have money too. So it could very well be that. But if that is the situation where he owes these guys copious amounts of money because of his alleged habit, I could see him maybe going, wait, my wife has this crazy life insurance thing and she is connected to this $1 billion industry. She's an heiress. Oh, I can make a quick buck if I just do this, that, and the third and pay back whoever I owe money to, or have more money so I can go run off with this alleged affair that I'm having with the nanny, this 22-year-old nanny type thing. If that's even true, these are all speculations and these are all just rumors. But if that is true, yeah, I could see why the cops would be bringing in hubby and going, listen, your wife is a billionaire heiress. There is a lot of room for speculation just on the fact that what her name is and what is coming to her at a specific time, or what is going to be allotted to her at a specific time. So yeah, the possibilities are still endless. But, and then of course the life insurance thing could definitely be a factor in this game. Hold on real quick. Boom, boom, boom. I think that's all the super chats. Is it all the super chats? Yes, I guess that is all the super chats. Thank you guys for the super chats and the support. I really do appreciate it. But let's go back over here. We got another screenshot that I wanted to show you, and I know it's very, very small print, but it says apparently some guy was posting this on, I guess, Facebook. Yes, Facebook. They're just saying it was the husband. They are separated. She got a huge inheritance. He's I'm not going to use that. He is avid skier. Okay, sleeping with the nanny. Everyone have a good night. He's like, and drop the mic. Interesting. He won't talk to police and already has a lawyer. We already know about all that speculation here. It says, so he continues saying, 2 groups blocked me. Been saying it for 4 hours now, but they wanted to argue what kind of rims the car had. That's weird. Now they said, do you think it was his car though? It does look a lot longer in the video. I don't know what they mean by that. Then of course somebody else said, I thought she drove a black Mercedes, and then I'm sure it was stolen and ditched. Sadly, I think the unspeakable happened as soon as she was put into that SUV. Cover up. That's all it says right there, and I guess it continues. But interesting. So now the question is the SUV, the white SUV that they are towing right now, is that SUV the husband's or is that the wife's? Because now people are saying, I thought she drove a black Mercedes. She could very well have driven a black Mercedes too. But nonetheless, regardless of who the actual person who drives said car, those two things are like the car from their home is being towed from the home to be looked at. And that says a tremendous amount of my personal opinion. Computer, and then the garden shears, I don't get it. I don't get the garden shears, but we'll see. We'll see what happens as this story continues to develop, because it's crazy. In my personal opinion, this is a wild, potentially salacious story. But then again, it could just very well be a girl running down the street and getting kidnapped. Nerdy, last thoughts real quick.
I think going back to that car, thinking about it, I don't know what kind of cars they have, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense to take a victim's car because it doesn't give you a lot of information, right? If you're taking that victim's car to see if someone was following her, like to tell by the car's GPS if it had it embedded in, her phone would give that location, right? And so there's not a whole lot of use in taking a victim's car. I could be wrong. I would presume they're taking his car for location, DNA. And that's the other thing. In between the time of 7:30 a.m. and when they towed the car, what happened? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. I mean, the car piece, she was abducted in a different car, so why take that vehicle? It doesn't matter which vehicle they had. Why even take that? There's not a whole lot of information that would give unless you're forensically examining inside, and that also doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, the options here and the angles that they're going here are making everybody go crazy, right? Everyone's going into their internet sleuthing. Everyone's doing their speculations. Everyone's sitting there going, "Oh my gosh," because that is pretty. It is a salacious idea, as if this is like some Lifetime movie where it's, oh, he owed money. He's in love with this nanny that he's having a love affair with. He's got this habit, that's this unhealthy habit that he's trying to keep up, pay for, and it's financially just burying him right now. And so, oh, I got this billionaire, this billionaire heiress that's my wife, and oh, here's an opportunity for me to scoop a big bag. And I don't know. Again, you're right in the fact that 5-0 is at their home, or was at their home, packing up a bunch of stuff that has nothing, in my mind, to do with the actual kidnapping / abduction of this woman. To me, nothing. If it was just a straight up and down kidnapping of this woman, they should be out in that area looking at whatever they can find in those streets to find out some actual facts of what happened and how it went down. But then when they go, like, just completely echoing with what you just said, Nerdy. But instead, they turn around and they go to the home and get all this other stuff. It's not like it's them getting a hairbrush or a toothbrush, something like that where they can get her DNA or anything of that sort. No, they go there and get a car. They go there and get a computer. They go in there and get garden shears. The math ain't mathin' for me for the idea of a straight up kidnapping. Feels like something even more sinister went down here. And I guess we're going to find out more information as we get closer to as law enforcement uncovers more information and all that. Because I know that out in the internet streets, the rumor mill, they're going to make up as much, people are coming up with their own pieces, or the neighbors saying this, and then their best friends saying that, and this, that, and the third, and talking about their marital problems and all that. And it could very well be that this girl was abducted and that's it. But still, like what Nerdy just said, you got somebody out here that was abducted, and now they're getting her car, or getting a car from her home, and all these other items that at the surface feel like have no connection to her abduction, but could very well be a connection and could hopefully bring her back home safely. But Nerdy, I want to say thank you so much for being on, man. I appreciate you being here and talking about this, because this is so weird. This is a weird one. Went to bed, I was like, oh, that sucks. I'll look into it tomorrow morning to see what's going on, And then I come back and, I wake up and boom, this thing is like, I'm like, what? All this new stuff? I'm like, where the hell did this come from? So this is crazy, absolutely crazy, Nerdy. And so I appreciate you breaking it down with me, because I know you've been keeping your finger on the pulse on this particular situation. And yeah, I couldn't have done this show without you, bro. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. We got a lot going on. So, Kylie, you're still waiting on that. I do want to just take a minute. Kaylee Jones, 16-year-old, went missing over 2 months ago from Carrollton, Georgia. She turned 17 maybe about a week ago, just a couple days ago. She's autistic, and she's been missing ever since. Her family reports that she left via the second floor window of the house and ran away. What's odd on this one is that the family and news media also reports that marshals, obviously local law enforcement, but Secret Services is apparently involved on this. Thank you for bringing it up. There's a reward, $5,000 reward, but nobody has seen a sign of Kaylee since she left. And, Nerdbird Mafia is very worried about her, obviously. We've been advocating. We got billboards up throughout Tampa and Atlanta pro bono flyers, and still no real valid tips. And so I appreciate you popping her up here. Ingrain her face into your memory if you're looking at this. She could be anywhere. She does have ties to Florida, Brooksville, Florida. She loves horses. She rode horses. And, you know, in describing when we spoke to her employer, she's a recluse, right? She didn't have many friends. She has patterns. She won't take food from other people. So these are things, observations that people have made. So, you know, be on the lookout for her if you guys are listening, and anywhere in between Florida, Georgia, or anywhere. She has ties to Illinois, Morristown, I believe. And yeah, so we want to bring this girl home. You know, so anything that this community can do to share and keep sharing this until we can bring Kaylee home, that would be appreciated.
Absolutely. They say she walked out of her family home sometime overnight on the 14th of June. She could be wearing jean shorts, a t-shirt, and black Adidas tennis shoes. Kaylee, okay, she's on the autism spectrum, and of course she needs immediate medical care. And you know what's heartbreaking is that this happened in June 14th of this year, and we're now in September. So yes, I'm sure a lot of people are really worried about her well-being. So yeah, if you guys know of anything, have any information, you can call the sheriff's office, 770-830-5888. Again, it's 770-830-5888. Okay. If you have any information about this young girl, we should be bringing her home as quickly as possible. This one's way overdue, this particular story. And you know, I'll do my best to look into the story as well, so we can continue saying her name, telling the story as much as we can. Now, the question though, before we head off, you said there was a super chat about a name. I forgot the name now. I feel like a jerk.
Oh, so the teenager. Yeah. So this is a teenager. It's not the one I was thinking. So this is a boy that, and I got to read more. I'm actually interested. He was missing, right?
What was the name?
I don't, Gabriel Davies or something. I don't have him up. But anyways, he was missing, and now he's been charged with murder. So he's missing reported missing. They found him, and now he's been reported for murder. I don't know of whom, but it's sort of it's an interesting one, I guess. And I think he's a teenager too.
Oh my Lord. Hold on. I'm looking for the super chat really quick because I forgot the name. Dag nabbit. Gabriel Davies. Hold on. I'm going to look this up before we wrap up, because I know and shout out to View Galaxy for bringing that up, because I didn't know anything about this one.
It just broke about an hour ago.
Gabriel Davis, it looks like. Gabriel Davis?
I believe I spelled it Gabie, Davis.
Oh, it's Davies? Hold on. Some people are sitting there going, what? All right, hold on. Let me just put in Davies. Gabriel Davies. Yes, Gabriel Davies. Yeah, somebody else has put it up. Ooh, that's okay. Yeah, he's been charged with unaliving somebody. What? I guess that's the reason. Maybe that's the reason why he ran. Maybe. I don't. This is the thing. I don't know this story that well, but I will pop this up, and maybe I'll do this as a video, standalone video. But this is Gabriel right here. And of course, they're saying, yeah, Thursday, September 1st, responded to a welfare check. 50. This guy, deputies were told the resident, 51-year-old man, had not shown up to work in 4 days. Deputies were able to gain access into the home to do a welfare check and located the man deceased inside the home. The man had a gunshot wound, but no firearm was nearby. Deputies called the detectives and forensic investigators to respond to the scene. Detectives spent Thursday and Friday processing the scene and collecting evidence. Friday night, our detectives had enough evidence for probable cause to arrest 2 suspects in the case. Just after 8 p.m., both of our suspects, 2 16-year-old males, were taken into custody. And they were booked for murder in the second degree, burglary in the first degree, and unlawful possession of a firearm. And this all revolves around this young man, Gabriel Davies. I'm so confused right now.
It's funny because the reason I saw his face, Pascal, was because it was being retweeted around. I didn't focus on.
Yeah.
I try to focus on vulnerable missing children usually, or so this was a focus I saw. I saw his face, and it's a wild turn of events. I know he was missing because I recognize the face, but the murder charges are. I don't know. We're seeing more of it. We talked about Lily Peters and a teenager that killed she's 10 or 11. Sometimes it's a sad world to observe. I don't know much about the case, or it sounds like just a burglary gone wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, this is interesting, man. Because I remembered because I saw too. It caught my eye from Jennifer Coffindaffer, because she posted it yesterday, saying, "Oh, he's been found. Congratulations! I'm so happy he's been found safe." Right, and now there's this new information. Everyone's like, "Yay, he's been found!" And now we're hearing about this stuff. But then I automatically wonder what was going on, and why is this young man being charged with murder in the second degree, burglary in the first degree, and unlawful possession of a firearm? Was there some sort of connection with this 51-year-old man to his disappearance? Could this have been a revenge thing? That's what I automatically think in my head. Because why would he? What's the connection? You see what I'm saying? So I got a lot of questions. And of course, that's me just shooting from the hip on what I'm instantly thinking in my mind of, like, okay, could it have been revenge? Could he have been taken or held against his will by this 51-year-old man? Or did he go missing because of something? Was he out, running around because of drugs? Maybe. God knows what, right? Did he just straight up run away? What's going on here? But I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more, because that's something still very, very brand new to me. And Janice Martin, are you saying Gabriel has been charged with something? Yes, it looks like he has been charged with murder in the second degree, burglary in the first degree, and unlawful possession of a firearm. That's all the information that I know right now. I don't know. Like I said, this is all brand spanking new to me. I'll probably do a pop-up video about this a little bit later on today to talk about it, because again, that's all new information to me. Iowa girl, thank you so much for the 5. Maybe they took his car to check the GPS, to see if it was driven when it took place, or when this kidnapping took place. That could very well be it as well. Most definitely it could be. But yeah, the possibilities with them taking the car could be endless. But yeah, he could have. And you said something earlier, Nerdy, that maybe we can drive home with that particular story real quick, was the timing. Can you just one more time reiterate your theory about the timing of everything revolving around Eliza Fletcher?
Yeah, just that morning, sort of 4:30. You reported between 4:20 and 4:30 is missing. The timing of the 2 calls, police say they got 2 calls around the same time, one from the university and then one from her husband. How did that come into play? Because as a husband, I'm not really worried 2-3 hours, right? I mean, it's only 7:30. I'm waking up at 6:30. Okay, my wife's not home. She's probably at the university working like she normally is. Like, how did both of them make that call? And then I guess from there, you're then led on a path of identifying that car and the license plate. It seems elaborate, right? To be able to abduct this woman with barely any footage aside from a blurry still of her in the car, and then you come back full circle with a search at his house. Yeah, but the timing is certainly suspicious. I'd say the family not making a joint statement alongside the husband of a missing woman doesn't mean suspicion, but typically that's something you see. You see a husband coming on TV begging the abductors to bring his loved wife back. We haven't seen any of that. We haven't seen sort of any sort of harmony between the two families, and I'd say that painted a picture probably to law enforcement that resulted in that house being searched.
That's a very good point there too. Like that the timing, the fact that the families are not standing in solidarity together in unison, saying, "Oh, we're here to try to find her as quickly as we can to get any information." Blah blah blah. I mean, yeah, and also too, I know that him asking for a lawyer is not admission of guilt, but the fact that that's being asked does seem a bit strange to me. I mean, imagine if I will say this. God rest her soul, of course, but imagine if Kylie's parents, say her mother, said, "I want a lawyer." Be kind of strange, right? That would be weird, y'all. That'd be weird for her to instantly say, instead of cooperating with 5-0 and be willing to do whatever needs to be done to bring that loved one home as quickly as possible, she says, "I want a lawyer." That instantly throws up red flags instantly. Or you just have some other things, or you could possibly have something that you don't want to be found, that maybe has no connection to that girl or that person's kidnapping, or that revolved to that person missing. But at the same time, like, why would you instantly say, "I want a lawyer. I want to speak to my lawyer"? It just seems weird. It seems weird, even though it's not an admission of guilt. And yes, a lot of times you go, "Hey, you should have a lawyer present with you at all times." But the first thing you say is that, instead of, "I will do whatever it takes to cooperate and help you find my wife." Seems strange. Just to me, seems a little strange. Vera Luna, thank you so much for the 5 Canadian. Fletcher husband has a public Strava profile. Okay, so a runner or biking as well. Posts his bike rides frequently. Liza follows him. Her account is private, but he doesn't follow her. That's a little strange. Yeah. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's just another app where runners and like avid cyclists and whatnot can be on there and talk about their routes. And it's like a social media platform for avid runners and, endurance junkies. Let's just say that,
tracks your path too, right? So you can sort of where I've run, where I've biked, and then push yourself to go a little further. It's a cool app.
That too, yeah, and it's really dope. And then of course, you can also say, "I did this route, highly recommend," right? And then somebody can actually go and try to follow that same route that you did as well. But it is weird that they're on the same app, but they don't follow each other, and that's your wife. That's weird. That's a little weird to me. Let's keep it real.
This is your wife.
This is my wife. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, we're almost at 500 likes, so please hit that 5. Help us get to that 5, okay? A like does not cost a thing, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button, okay, guys? We're here on a Saturday talking about all this craziness and being a part of this conversation, because of course we need to bring this story out here, because maybe somebody else out there that's watching this show knows something, and hopefully that will inspire them to step forward, contact their local authorities, the Memphis PD, and let them know the information that they know, because like I said, this is just it's so sad that this is going on, and no person should be abducted at all or kidnapped at all. So this is a very serious, sad situation, and hopefully we can bring her home as quickly as we possibly can. Okay, so please do that. I appreciate you guys getting to past 500 likes. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Nerdy, I want to say this really quick before we were kind of wrapping up, but we kind of did a little bit of a left turn, which is totally fine. But I wanted to pull up your Twitter real quick, because we definitely need to get you guys over there and following him. Oh, and the other thing, okay, real quick, everybody go over to his Twitter. All right, follow him on Twitter. It is nerdy_addict. Trust me, you'll thank yourself later. Okay, go follow him over there. And the other thing too is Nerd Bird Mafia was trending this morning, which I thought was really which I thought was really, really cool. And I think we should talk about that really quick. Why was Nerdbird Mafia trending so hard?
Why? So the why is literally Nancy Grace. So Nancy Grace did a show yesterday, and she literally roasted Nerdbird Mafia, which I don't have anything to do with them, Pascal. Never heard of that group whatsoever. But no, she was, we talked about this a little bit. She was talking about Kaylee Jones in her podcast, and just speaking to the father of Kaylee Jones. It's important to note that this group is only interested in finding Kaylee, like any other case. And so a lot of cases, family are either approached by another group saying, look, don't work with these guys. There's an underbelly in the true crime community. That's really the gist of it, without getting into super specifics. But Nancy Grace roasted me. She roasted Nerdbird Mafia. And then, traffic to the website went up 10 times. And really what I told the community, Nerdbird Mafia was like, this is horrible. Like, how could she do this? Because the community spent a lot of time calling, putting up billboards pro bono through Lamar and Tampa, Atlanta, flyers, Google ads, meaning so when somebody searches in Florida for pizza, they would see a picture of Kaylee Jones. We did a lot, right? And for the family to come back and say, I think where the community left it as, well, we're not hearing any tips. This is a little suspicious. Can we search that large ass property you have there? Because this isn't adding up. And the family sort of took that. They heard it on social media, and then they attacked us one way or another. Jeez. I tell the community that, look, for the missing person, there's no good or bad press. Like, as long Kaylee hasn't been spoken about since her 17th birthday, which is a couple of days ago. Nancy Jones, even though she roasted us, and she's a boomer Skeletor from the South, she gave Kaylee Jones a face today. Kaylee, more important than Nerdbird Mafia trending, Kaylee Jones was trending this morning because of this. And so, in terms of all good stuff for Kaylee Jones, Pascal. So yeah, I've never heard of Nancy Grace before this. I actually, if you go back and look at my comments, I didn't even know who she was. But then, she started her episode with, "Who is the Nerdbird Mafia?" And then she's got that annoying voice, and it just went on. And, wow. We had a good belly laugh though. Yeah, no.
I looked at it as, hey, they're putting, yes, sure, it's her going in on this, but at least people are looking at it and seeing what good you guys are doing, the content you guys are doing. And of course, again, yes, it's getting more and more people knowing what this Kaylee Jones situation is, the case is all about, etc. So to me, I was like, yo, they need to, I don't think it's right that she was, going in on you guys. But at the same time, Nerdbird Mafia was trending, and then you got a lot of traffic. They're looking into you guys' stuff. And yeah, some of the trolls are just going to be trolls. They're going to be assholes anyway. But there's going to be other people out there that are going to look and go, oh, okay, what they're doing is for the good. You guys have a powerful movement going on, and it's all for the good. So yeah, in a way, you've heard this phrase. There's no such thing as bad publicity. And she put your name in her mouth and said it on a podcast. So to me, I'm going, okay, something's working. Now people are looking at you guys and checking it out. So shout out to the Nerdbird Mafia. Real talk.
Yeah, shout out. I love my family, Nerdbird Mafia. Shout out to them. And really, once you take your emotions out of it, right? Someone's talking negatively, and go back and listen to the podcast. I encourage everyone to. The father saying, look, these guys asked me for my daughter's date of birth. nothing about what we were asking is different than any other missing person case. I think what made this weird was that they were acting much different than any other missing person case. You see what I'm saying? So that raises a lot of suspicion. I mean, you see within 24 hours of a woman going missing, a grown woman, the amount of speculation. Imagine what people are willing to do for a 16-year-old autistic girl. So there is no question, no stone that goes unturned. And if you're a family that doesn't like that, perhaps you need to look inwards and ask yourself why.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. So yeah, again, to me, Nancy Grace said your name, and I know that not a lot of people
party.
You know what I mean? Right? I mean, it does. For some people to be like, "Oh, Nancy Grace," and then some other people are like, "Yo, Nancy Grace." To me, she's obviously in the game, right? She's in the system. She said y'all's name. She also put your name, the Nerdbird Mafia, next to the Kaylee Jones case, and I think that's really dope. And so I think the traction and the traffic that you guys are getting, I'm sure they're going to see that it's all good things, and I see nothing but good things coming from it. I think it's going to be dope. I'm excited for you. Real talk. But again, thank you so much for being on with me, my dude. I really do appreciate it. But one thing I wanted to do and say really quick is and share with you guys is this is very important. And I think is a conversation that not a lot of us really talk about. And I know for those of y'all who have been watching the show, you know about this already, but I'm going to say it again. I'm going to blow up the single screen. You're not gone, nerdy. I just wanted to let you know that. Okay. But I wanted to share with you guys this hoodie, for example. If you like this hoodie, okay, you can buy it right now on pascalmerch.com. It is available right now as we speak. We put together a bunch of tie-dye t-shirts, long sleeve tees, and hoodies now. This one says, of course, this hoodie saves lives, and it has the hashtag suicide awareness on the back with the Pascal Show logo on the back. And of course, there's the year 22 on here on the sleeve of all of the shirts. Okay. So if you are, and of course, these shirts are for Suicide Awareness Month or Suicide Prevention Month. And a portion of the proceeds is going to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And I take this stuff very, very seriously. And I feel like this is a situation, suicide, someone taking their life, one's life, or the thought of wanting to leave this planet. I do take it very seriously because there's a lot of friends and a lot of people that I know in my past that have succumbed to their own inner battles, their own sadness, their own depressions, and of course are now no longer with us because of said thing. And so I wanted to bring some more awareness to this and preventing things like this from happening. So I created these shirts and these hoodies because it really struck a chord in me, and I felt it in my body to push forward and create these shirts. Now, it was just shirts at first, and then because of the amazing reaction, the overwhelming reaction that you guys have had to these hoodies and to these shirts, I decided to make long sleeve shirts and hoodies as well. And so these are all now available right now as we speak on pascalmerch.com. Please, again, and these are just reminders not only to be in solidarity to people who are dealing with their own problems, but also to remind them that they're not alone. And hopefully these hoodies and these t-shirts do spark up a conversation for the good. So we have a shirt that says this shirt saves lives. We have another one that has the 1-800 number on there as well. And all of them have the hashtag suicide awareness and the year on the sleeve of the hoodies, the long sleeve tees, and the tees. And I want to remind you guys, the reason why I'm doing the year is because I'm planning on doing this every single year. We did breast cancer awareness last year. We will be doing that again this year as well. Special merchandise and special shirts and hoodies like that as well for October. So these are things that I take very, very seriously. And I'm just hoping that you guys will go and take a look and maybe buy one in support. Okay. So if you go to pascalmerch.com, you can find them there. And again, wear them with pride. And hopefully it starts a conversation, a much needed conversation. Let me make sure I pin that to the top. Nur's holding it down, so I appreciate it. But yes, again, if you go to pascalmerch.com, they're all there. Don't worry, the photos are changing very, very soon. We have a photo shoot tomorrow evening. So a lot of those ugly ass photos that we have on the website are going to be switched out very, very soon. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that too. And trust me, these are very comfortable and they look good too. And yeah, I can't wait. A lot of y'all have ordered and a lot of those orders are already en route as we speak. And I'm just looking forward to you guys wearing the merch and bringing more awareness. But Nerdy, again, I appreciate you coming on and being a part of the conversation. We, of course, unfortunately, I gotta wrap up this show. But it was a much needed show. Hopefully we got down to the nitty gritty and hopefully we answered some of y'all's questions around Eliza Fletcher. And I hope we find her safe. I really do hope we find her safe.
Thank you for having me, Pascal. Everyone knows how I feel about suicide awareness, behavioral health addiction. So I'm excited to get my hoodie. You should have your Nerdbird Mafia gear by the 5th, so a couple of days. Maybe our next show we can show them off or show some pictures on Twitter. I will say last thing, because I have the wonderful women at Snoopy Misfits on Twitter. Kidnapping, the difference, the nuance between kidnapping and abduction is, yes, they are essentially the same thing, but kidnapping, unlike abduction, may be done for ransom or for political or other purposes. So that's the difference between kidnapping and abduction.
That's, you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that
knowledge bomb.
Yeah, knowledge bomb. And I appreciate that clarification. In my mind, I'm hoping that this, I guess, is a kidnapping. Which one's more positive?
Kidnapping implies they're holding her for ransom. So I would hope that would be the outcome. Follow me on Twitter. We'll be following it all day. Pascal, I got to run and get some coffee in my system.
Appreciate
I love you, man. Have a great day.
Love you too, man. You too. Peace. Again, guys, I really do appreciate all y'all for being here, being a part of the conversation and all that. There's a lot that we discussed. There's a lot that we broke down here. And so I hope that you guys can come, keep me up to date. I'm going to try to keep you guys up to date. If there's any more developing information that comes out here, I will definitely let you guys know. Okay. But for right now, this is all we know. They're doing their due diligence. They're looking into the evidence. We'll find out more information as time moves on. So before we get going, do me a favor, okay? Hit that like button down below. Do not forget to hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button, all right? We're walking our way towards 100,000 subscribers. So please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, become a part of the family. Also, hit that join button down below or join my Patreon, join my locals, support in any way you can. And if you like these hoodies and you're liking what you see here and the t-shirts, please do me a favor. Go over to pascalmerch.com and snag you some stuff. All right? And support. Anyway, guys, I got to get going. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Have a great rest of your day. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next show. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.